This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome back. Welcome to our special coverage outside the British Houses of Parliament. I'm Hala Garani, along with Richard Quest. Britain is heading for a new showdown with the European Union. Lawmakers in this country have ordered Theresa May to return to Brussels and reopen her hard-won Brexit deal. MPs have now given her a mandate to seek an alternative to what's called the backstop. That's the insurance policy to avoid the return to a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Here is that moment.
The ayes to the right, 317. The noes to the left, 301.
The ayes to the right, 317. The noes to the left, 301. So the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Unlocked. The question...
Well, lawmakers also voted in favor of removing no deal as an option for Brexit. The Prime Minister spoke just a short time ago and said she would redouble her efforts to secure a deal that Parliament can agree on.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker, a fortnight ago, this House clearly rejected the proposed withdrawal agreement and political declaration, with just 202 members voting in favour. Tonight, a majority of honourable members have said they would support a deal with changes to the backstop, combined with measures to address concerns over Parliament's role in the negotiation of the future relationship and commitments on workers' rights in law where need be. It is now clear that there is a route that can secure a substantial and sustainable majority in this House for leaving the EU with a deal. We will now take this mandate forward and seek to obtain legally binding changes to withdrawal agreement that deal with concerns on the backstop while guaranteeing no return to a hard border between Northern Ireland and Ireland. And my colleagues and I will talk to the EU about how we address the House's views. As I said this afternoon, there is limited appetite for such a change in the EU, and negotiating it will not be easy. But in contrast to a fortnight ago, this House has made it clear what it needs to approve a withdrawal agreement. Many honourable members have said that the continuing protection of workers' rights after Brexit is something that needs to be strengthened. And my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for Business, will intensify our work with honourable members from across the House and the trade unions this week. And my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for exiting the European Union, will do the same on how we engage this House further in our approach to negotiating our future partnership with the EU. As well as making clear what changes it needs to approve the withdrawal agreement, the House has also reconfirmed its view that it does not want to leave the EU without a withdrawal agreement and future framework. I agree that we should not leave without a deal. However, simply opposing no deal is not enough to stop it. The government will now redouble its efforts to get a deal that this House can support. And to that end, I want to invite my right honourable friend, the member for Meriden, the honourable member for Birmingham Erdington, and all those that tabled amendments in opposition to no deal to discuss how we can deliver that by securing a deal. In light of the defeat of the right honourable member, the leader of the opposition's amendment, I again invite him to take up my offer of the meeting to see if we can find a way forward. Mr. Speaker, if this House can come together, we can deliver the decision the British people took in June 2016, restore faith in our democracy, and get on with building a country that works for everyone. And as Prime Minister, I will work with members across the House to do just that.
We have clarity that we're asking for something that can't be had. I mean, they're asking for a magic castle in Brussels.
However, so we know that the EU have ruled out reopening the withdrawal agreement. However, Graham Brady, the author of that amendment, said on the weekend that he suggested a codicil or some sort of addendum to the current political declaration and withdrawal agreement. Now, the EU haven't ruled that out.
They want it to be legally binding, and the EU won't.
Some Brexiteers do. Graham Brady, the author of that amendment, did not say that. the Prime Minister then added that. So perhaps there's some kind of wiggle room in the middle, is what I'm saying.
Peter Goodman, the one thing I recall from our sojourn down this road a couple of weeks ago, you said to me, how many ways do I have to tell you that we have no idea what's going to happen? Do you still think that's the case?
We still have no idea what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen next. Theresa May is going to go to Brussels. She's going to say, I've delivered a majority for something. The majority is for the thing that you've been telling me for 2.5 years we can't have. Can we have it? No. Okay, now I'm going to fly home and we get to do this over again. No, there is simply no certainty over what's going to happen. And for people running businesses, for people having to figure out whether they're going to be able to live in the UK or if they're British citizens living in the EU, we have no idea what's going to happen.
There has been some progress in the sense that the Spellman Amendment was passed, even though a small majority, and arguably you might have expected, since it was a no-deal Brexit, anti-no-deal Brexit vote, you might have expected, but it did pass. So the clear clarity is that if she fails in Brussels, then she knows she's facing a Commons that will vote against no deal.
But equally, I think it puts some onus on the Commons, because you notice with the Prime Minister's rhetoric last hour, instead of just saying, you know, it's no Brexit or no deal, she said the only way to avoid no deal, which you've all just voted for in a majority, is to vote for a deal. So yes, I think it does make the Prime Minister, it makes it harder for her to present a simple no deal as an option, but it makes it harder also for the House of Commons that can't present a consensus on anything else to reject what she comes back with.
I just want to remind our viewers what happened tonight. There were 7 amendments, 5 of them were defeated, 2 passed. Those that passed were was the Brady Amendment on the Northern Ireland backstop. So MPs voted to support that amendment that would seek alternatives to the backstop, right? The other one that passed was the one that expressed a position not to exit without a deal. Those are the 2. Just so we're clear.
But there's no authority to an amendment that says there's no deal, because ultimately the Europeans have to agree to extend the clock, or absent a majority for something that the Europeans are actually prepared to do, we crash out on March 29th.
And Nick Robertson is at 10 Downing Street. We're expecting perhaps Theresa May to drive up to 10 Downing Street any minute now. Nick, tell us more what you're hearing from your end.
Well, yeah, we saw Philip Hammond come in the front door a short time ago, but it looks like Theresa May's convoy has come in the back door. I mean, if this was a good day for her, which the general assessment has to be, seems to be so, she's chosen to go in by the back door and not sort of do what you might term a small, tiny lap of honor, walking in the front door in front of all the cameras here. So what we read into that, I don't know. I think we read into it that she knows she has trouble when she goes to Brussels coming. It's not going to be easy. What kind of language is she going to try to employ to win them over into the impossible opening up of the negotiation, the withdrawal agreement, as they said that they won't do, and she said she will do. So obviously she has a lot to work on, but she's gone in by the back door tonight, and undoubtedly, as I say, we'll have a lot to do.
When she does go to Brussels, what position will the Irish take?
You know, the Irish have been very clear, and I think this is something that the Europeans have been clear on, and it's not satisfactory for Theresa May, and people will notice that there's been more pressure in recent weeks focused towards the Irish to change their position. But when we heard from the Tanash, the Foreign Minister, Deputy Prime Minister Coveney over the weekend, he said essentially everything that we've been hearing from EU officials this week, subsequent to that, that there is no opportunity to open up with the withdrawal agreement, but do look to the language in the future relationship as a way for Theresa May to try to get some of what she wants. That would fall woefully short of what many of the sort of harder-line Brexiteers would want, even what Theresa May is suggesting within the Brady Agreement. Even that potentially may fall short, depending on how these alternative arrangements were delivered. So I think the Irish position is going to be, and you'll see the DUP speak about this, the DUP are convinced that the Irish government is worried that they've taken too hard a position, that they stand to lose out because of the position that they've taken, and the DUP thinks the Irish government may waver on this. But I think that the view that we're hearing from the Irish government, and looking at the polls supporting Leo Varadkar, his 10 points up in the polls over the past week, about a week ago, from their own perspective, they're handling this well, it appears, and there won't be a sense from them that they need to budge. They will stand firm with the European Union. Indeed, it's the European Union standing firm with them, but we can expect the rhetoric on this and the eyes in the UK to turn towards Dublin, to look to them and single them out in the European Union 27 to help Theresa May. It doesn't seem to be on the horizon.